I am live there. Am I live there? I'm not live there. We'll just wait until we get live everywhere. Yeah, I got an ad. And it's not a very good ad either. My apologies if you can hear me and you're stuck watching that ad. Oh, there's another one. My goodness. There we go. How are we doing today, guys? We got Paul the Piper, George Tiedemann. Good to see you, George and Paul. Tony 513. Hello, Tony. And Boris the Piper. Good to see you, Boris. We get to see you before the wee hours of the morning, or after the wee hours of the morning. Kilted Piper Steve, hello there. An Armchair Piper, hi Ed, good to see you. Glad you're doing great. Smokin', good evening to you, and Johnny Osprey, last of the Bohemians. Good to see you, buddy. Well, as the room fills up, I got something I wanted to read to you. And you can tell me why I'm reading this. Ahoy, me hearties, avast ye, ye bill-sucking scum. Batten down the hatches and bring a spring upon her. For if your clipper fills our coffer, there will be a clap of thunder for the lot of ye sea dogs. Now, I have no idea what I just said. I'm wondering if you know why I said it. JD Softflame Piper, hello there, JD. And Joffrey Dunn, hello, Joffrey, good to see you. Tony 513, I actually wrote it. Frank Denine, good afternoon. So today is September 19th. Come on, no one? Daniel Tobias, hello Daniel. September 19th is a great day all over the world. September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Last of the Bohemians got it. Yeah, it's international. It's Talk Like a Pirate Day, but close enough, my friend. Ah, Air Force birthday and POW day as well, Yardism. I did not know that. But I'm glad I know it now. Johnny Osprey, yes. And Tony. Pipes and Bees, hello there. Now, all the folks joining now are going to want to wonder why everybody's saying things like, or me matey. Dan Lopez, hello, and Frank Deniny. Leave Bucko. So as you know, let me tell you what I'm smoking first. Actually this is a Stan Nakowski, and I am smoking Salty Dog, and it's actually working really well in this pipe. Nice stack for Virginia, and Salty Dog's a very nice Virginia Perique. Dense plug. Cut it up earlier and rubbed it out and gave it a little bit of time. Didn't really need it, but Stoic Smoker, hello. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, this was actually a gift from my friend Bona Piper. He clearly likes me. And what I like about this pipe most is I like smooth pipes. I like the grain, but I like the way a rusticated pipe feels, and I get the best of both worlds here. You know, you get that really deep, craggy rustication to hold on to, and you get to admire the grain. Tilted Piper Steve's got a Bud Light and smoking Bud Light and drinking on a book. Steve, we'll just assume that was intentional rather than evidence that there's been more than one Bud Light. I am going to have a Yingling. If I can get it open. So today is the monthly giveaway live stream, and you probably all know that, but anyway, this is what we're giving away today. This is a brand new 7LE Series 3. It is a 626 balsa filter. Will accept a regular 9mm filter. Very nice shape. I got this from Eddie Gray, Pipe Nook, and I'm going to do a bit of an ad for him and for the 7LE Series 3 because these are fantastic pipes. I personally don't own one, but I've worked on a couple of them because folks wanted new stems or conversions or something like that. And I've handled probably 3 or 4 of them now, either that I've given away on these live streams or to folks as gifts. And the engineering on these is fantastic. These are 7LE pipes through and through. There's minor flaws, sometimes not so minor flaws, but if you just want a good smoking pipe, you know, for $60 or $65, something like that, check out the Pipe Nook and look at these Series 3 7LEs. I don't buy into the whole thing that it smokes cooler because it doesn't have a finish on it. For that to be true, physics would have to be different. But nevertheless, they smoke great, and highly recommend them. Yeah, Boris, I'm hoping that I get a long smoke out of this. Corvette Jim is here. We can get started now. Jim, you missed the warm up and all the parrot jokes. When does the shirt come off? Guns and Watches, I think you're on the wrong live stream. You do not want that. So if you're joining late, I've got Salty Dog and a Stanikowski drinking a Yingling. We are going to do the giveaway. We'll probably do that. We'll start the trivia about 4:30. Just give people plenty of time to show up. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. We'll see how things go. No worries, Jim. I was just teasing. Daniel's got Peterson 312 with mixture 79. Very nice, Daniel. Can you get mixture 79 local, or is that do you have to have it shipped in? JDE is looking up Salty Dog. It's a great tobacco. You got to get it shipped in, Daniel. Thanks. It's a great tobacco, but if I recall, I don't remember if you're just new to YouTube pipes or if you're new to pipes. Probably not a great one to start off with, or to try early on in your pipe smoking adventures. Paul the Scandinavian having some St. Bruno and an Ashton Pebble Green. Very nice. Canadian too. Nice. Signalman Tony from Rhode Island. Good to see you, my friend. Samuel GAW with Bothy Flake. Gotcha, JD. Well, you know, by all means, try it if you want, but it's one of those ones. It's a little hard to find. It's a bit expensive, and you gotta be familiar with plugs and stuff. It's probably not a. I'd wait a little bit. There's better, not better, but there's other vapors that are just as enjoyable. Okay, Daniel, go settle them down. In case you're wondering, the reason why I'm looking over there is that I set up the laptop so that I can actually see the comments without having to get right on top of the tablet. So I don't know how many of you guys tuned in last night. We had a really great conversations with pipe smokers. It was Mike from Briar Blues, and he was a joy to talk to. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, Chad, I wish you could increase the darn font size on the comments, because even with the larger monitor, it's hard to see them. Oh, thank you, Jim. So this morning on Instagram, I fired a shot at Phil from Briar Report to try to convince him to come on Conversations with Pipe Smokers. He's not going to do it, but we might have to start a write-in campaign or something. Josh Langevin, good to see you, my friend. Glad you liked it, Ed. Yeah, the Borkham story was pretty good, Tony. All right, Guns and Watches, thanks for dropping in. Hope work goes well for you. Yes, Boris, it does. Salty Dogs does require a lot of work, but it's worth it, I think. I just wouldn't want a new smoker to get saddled with it, because it takes some, I hate to say skill, because I don't really like to talk about pipe smoking skill, but you got to get a few other blends under your belt before you tackle it. Briar Blues, how you doing, Mike? We were just talking about you. It was mostly good. Reed Bender Bud, how are you doing, my friend? Oh, Mike. Glad to hear it, bud. Gamecock Piper. Been thinking about it. It's definitely worth trying a pouch of at some point. K Woody with a gurgle problem. Oh no. What now? I just do this once a month. It's a giveaway. I do just to kind of thank the folks that watch the streams. You know, there's a lot of folks out there that are subscribers and contribute in the comments, or maybe just watch, and they don't get recognition because they don't make videos. And you have these giveaways where people have to make videos, and I just like doing something where anybody has a chance to win. And the thing that you're going to have a chance to win, and we'll be starting this in the not too distant future, is this Savinelli Series 3. I keep forgetting the number on this. 626. It's a bent apple. Takes a 9mm filter. And new, unsmoked. And that pipe was purchased from Eddie Gray at the Pipe Book. He has other Series 3 if you're not the lucky winner. I really recommend them. They're good smoking pipes for the price. You can't beat the price. Like I said, it's like $65, and they're essentially a Savinelli with some minor cosmetic defects. You never know, Steve. There's a lot of luck involved. Oh, Last of the Bohemians, I got you hooked. Carter Hall will do that to you. A little trouble keeping this lit. Jim's given up on the gurgling K Woody. Yeah, I don't smoke a lot of plug tobacco, but every once in a while it's nice. It's kind of fun cutting it and rubbing it out and all. It's a just more of a ritual than just stuffing the pipe and lighting it. Makes it somehow more special, I guess. When you're an all-day smoker, you lose a lot of that ritualistic aspect of things. Mick McQuaid plug. That does sound good. I've had the Mick McQuaid Ready Rub, and I was quite impressed with it. So I actually had something interesting happen. I went to a local, I hesitate to call it a cigar shop. It's what I've been told is referred to as a head shop. They sell a lot of drug paraphernalia. This is the place I go to on Fridays when I was doing my Friday drive time, what was it called, the Roadway Rambles. It's a little small shop. It sells a lot of drug paraphernalia. It's mostly vape stuff now, and they actually have a really good cigar humidor. So I go in there about once a week when I'm going back and forth to work, and they always have the Smoker's Pride stuff, and some of that is labeled as pipe tobacco, but I think it's only an attempt to get around the taxes on the roll your own tobacco. And then they usually have a couple pouches of Captain Black, different flavors of Captain Black, and I don't like Captain Black. So I pretty much ignore their pipe tobacco section. And I haven't been in there since March because I haven't gone to work since March, but I went on Thursday and I went in and got a cigar there. And two things that just really amazed me. One is they all of a sudden started selling Prince Albert. So I bought a little box, I assume there's a pouch inside it, of Prince Albert because I just want to, support the fact that they're adding more pipe tobacco. I don't need pipe tobacco. I don't even particularly like Prince Albert, but I thought, for a couple bucks, this is worth doing. And what was surprising was that I got to the checkout and the girl, it's the same girl that's usually there when I go. Now, I have not seen her since March. I have essentially shaved my head and I'm wearing a face diaper. And I put the tobacco and the cigar down on the counter and she looks up at me and she says, "You never bought pipe tobacco here before." And I thought, wow, that's pretty amazing that she remembered who I was after all that. And I explained to her that, it's because the selection was so, I didn't say bad, but limited. And that this was a better tobacco in my opinion. And she seemed to take note of that. She's told me many times if there's cigars I would like, let her know and she'll talk to the manager about it. So maybe she'll take that information back and maybe we'll get a few more types of pipe tobacco there. Paul the Piper is back. Good to see you, Paul. JDE, I have not been following that, so I don't know if you're right or wrong about that big win for the cigar and tobacco industry about 4 weeks ago. Anybody know about that? I remember there was a ruling in the recent past, but it was kind of double-edged, if I recall. Oh, Stoic Smoker, that is lucky. Very lucky. Oh, they're relaxing the labeling. That's good. That is good news, Chad. All right, well, I think we're gonna move into the fun portion of our afternoon here. So again, what is up for grabs? What you can win is this Savinelli Series 3. It comes with a balsa filter that you, if you're like me, you'll immediately throw away, but it's in there, and it will accept a 9mm filter if you're so inclined. Was obtained from the Pipe Nook. Not sponsoring this. I bought it, but I really think Eddie does a great job, and I recommend him. And I recommend these Series 3 Savinellis. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have a trivia contest. And I'm sorry if you guys have done this before or been through this before, but I have to explain the rules from the beginning. So first off, we will take the first answer that appears on my screen. And I'm sorry, that may not be the first answer that appears on your screen. There are lag issues, and there's nothing I can do about that. There's no way to do this other than just accept the first answer that I see, that is correct, of course. So there's going to be a certain bit of chance involved in this. It's not just getting the correct answer and being a fast typist. It's also how well your internet connection works and how my internet connection parses out the things as they're coming in. So my word on this is going to be final. There's going to be 3 questions initially. And the first person to answer each of those questions correct will move on to a final round. If you're one of those three people, when you get an answer correct, please do not answer the other two questions because you can't be in the final round twice. Once we get those three folks in the final round, we will do 5 questions for just those three, and we'll ask everybody else to keep quiet in the chat while they're answering their 3 questions. And we will either have a winner at that point, or we'll have 2 folks that are tied, and we can then do a tiebreaker question. All right, so if we're all set and ready, I am going to begin. Let me just get the pipe burning again before I start. I was going to do, well, I'm not going to tell you what I was going to do. I've got a bonus question at the end that is good for nothing, but folks that were watching at the beginning will have an advantage, and that's all I'm going to tell you. All right, here we go. Get your typing fingers ready. Question number 1. What is propylene glycol used for in tobacco manufacturing? Ron H., I will take that as a correct answer. Ron H. said moisture, it's a moisturizing agent or humectant. So congratulations, Ron H. And you know what? I did not bring a pen over here. Excuse me one moment. So Ron H. will move on to the final round. Lots of guys got the right answer. I see several people saying flavoring. Propylene glycol doesn't have a flavor that's very pleasant. So but it's often added to flavored tobaccos. So I think that's why folks kind of confuse those two. Okay, next question. Which 1930s Hollywood actor, famous for playing gangsters, had a tobacco named after him? Johnny Osprey in Rhode Island. Edward G. Robinson is correct. Johnny Osprey moves on to the final round. All right, we got a lot of folks getting that one right. All right, last question. So last chance to go to the final round here. Which American city is known as the corncob capital of the world? Sean Pugney got it correct. Congratulations, Sean. The correct answer is Washington, Missouri. And a whole flurry of them came in right around that time, but Sean was the first one on my monitor, so apologize to any folks that might have seen it differently. All right, so we got our 3 finalists now. So that would be Ron H., Johnny Osprey, and Sean Pugney. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Sean. So if you're not Ron, Johnny, or Sean, you're not going to answer these questions. So please keep that in mind, and I'm going to repeat that before each question because it's kind of important. Only those 3 people should be answering. the questions for the final round. And there's going to be 5 of them. And to be honest, I think some of them are a little bit tougher than the first 3. Okay, so question number 1. Which famous pipe smoker had a bucket of water thrown over him by his servant? Which famous pipe smoker had a bucket of water thrown over him by his servant? Not correct, Sean. You are allowed more than one shot, so. And Ron H. and Johnny Osprey are thinking. You can, I'm sorry if you didn't understand, you can answer more than one. You can answer more than once, there we go. Johnny Osprey and Ron H., let me know if you're going to give up or if you have a guess. Johnny Osprey, that is not correct. Mark Twain is not the correct answer. Bing Crosby is not the correct answer. No clue? Okay, Sean. Johnny, Ron, you want to try one more time, or should I just move on? Looks like Ron doesn't know. Johnny, you going to tap out? We'll just have another question. Wasn't Tolkien? That's a funny thought, though. All right, we're going to move on. Nope, not Einstein. The correct answer was Sir Walter Raleigh. The story is that he was smoking his pipe, and keep in mind, pipe smoking was fairly unusual, and his servant walked into the room and thought he was on fire and doused him with a bucket of water to put it out. All right, like I said, some of these questions are a bit harder, but that's okay. All right, are we ready? Here is the this is actually the first then, because we'll just replace the question that nobody could answer. And remember, just those 3 folks are going to answer. What term is used to describe an American tobacco which is readily available in most shops? Ron H. OTC, Johnny Osprey, close second there. Sean, sorry, Codger, I was going to take either drugstore blend or over the counter. Codger blend is more of a slang sort of thing. And the correct answer, according to the source that I'm using, is drugstore blend. But OTC is so common that I'm accepting that as well. So Ron H. gets a point. Congratulations, Ron. And we now move on to the next question. Again, just the 3 folks in the final rounder to answer. Which company produces tobaccos named after places in the English Lake District? Ron H. again, you are correct. The answer is Gawith, or Samuel Gawith. Very good, Ron. 2 points. All right, so right now we got Ron H. with 2 points and Johnny Osprey and Sean Pugnier with no points. So let's move on to the third question. What brand of pipe is named after a pipe-smoking American physician who died in 1965 at the age of 97? What brand of pipe? Sean Pugny, congratulations. It is Dr. Grabo. So Sean gets on the board with a point. So we got Ron H. in first place, Sean coming in second, and Johnny third. All right. I'll give a second or two for the, because okay, I think we're good. Sorry, Boris, there's nothing I can do about that. The lag is actually on your end. It's almost always on the viewer's end. Desert Pine Piper, hello. We're in the final round of trivia. All right, next question, guys. Remember, just the 3 folks in the final round are to answer. What 3-letter British pipe name merged with Kamoy in 1981? 3-letter British pipe name that merged with Kamoy in 1981. Ron H. GBD is correct. So that gives Ron 3 points. And I believe at this point, since there's only one question left, it is mathematically impossible for anyone other than Ron to win. So Ron, congratulations. We'll do the last question just for the heck of it, and we'll let anyone answer. He didn't joke this time. Congratulations. And Ron, please send me an email, CaneRodPiper@gmail.com, and give me your address, and I'll get the pipe packed up and sent off to you early this week. So thanks a lot, and appreciate you guys playing. I'll give you the last question just for the heck of it. And this is a tough one, and anybody can answer this because it's for nothing. What is the name of the company owned by pipe maker Mark Tinsky? Yeah, I mean, we technically have a couple of correct answers, and interestingly, Ron H. got it first. The full answer is the American Pipe Smoking Company. There we go. Briars Blues got the more fully correct answer. Well done, Mike, and well done, Ron. Well, thanks, guys, for playing. That was enjoyable for me, at least, and hopefully you had some fun with it. And Ron H. has got himself a new pipe coming. So I promised you a bonus question. And again, if you were tuned in early, you got a better chance of answering this. Whose last words, so the person died after uttering these words, whose last words were, "Damnation seize my soul if I give any quarter or take any from you"? Smokin', did you mean that? Boris the Piper is correct. The correct answer is Blackbeard. I think Smokin' meant Blackbeard, but it came up Blackbird, and I sympathize because I type like that as well. Dude Rustic. Yeah, Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm surprised. We normally see Dude Rustic on Saturdays. He hasn't popped up yet. So the reason that was the question is earlier we were having some fun with International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is September 19th, and nobody pays attention to it, but it's a bit of silly fun. I remember when it first sort of got launched, and it was a relatively big deal. Like on college campuses and things like that. I was probably a postdoc at the time, so I was still in that world, and yeah, a lot of people had fun with that. Hey Jim, I don't know if you were on last night, but apparently we got news during the live stream that Yingling is going national. So all you guys that like this beer will soon be able to drink it as easily as I can, because I can get it anywhere here. And all you guys that hate it can continue to hate it. Jim, if it were possible, I'd put a 6-pack in the mail for you. You know, they asked that goofy question at the post office, anything liquid, fragile, perishable? And I'd have to say all of the above. I don't know what happens if you say Miller High Life. Yeah, I know you, Chad. I like them both, and I like craft beers as well. Right, Ed. You finally can feel special, and now everybody can get it. Ah, thanks, Johnny. Said with a sense of authority. I assume you work in that industry. I feel bad for the poor guy at the post office, because yeah, I live. It's a fairly small post office, and I always wind up dealing with the same guy. And I send out a lot of pipes because I do the repairs, and I have to send, so I'll go to the post office and I'll have 3 or 4 priority boxes. And he only asked the question once, but the answer is always no, because the pipes are packed well, and there's nothing liquid, fragile, perishable, or potentially hazardous. And so he says, is there anything, and I just say no, and I hit the no button, and the poor guy has to still continue to ask the question and wait for me to say no again. I feel bad about that. Got you, Johnny. It's a tough job these days. I'm glad you're doing it. Big Dave, the tobacco plants are doing fine. The one plant has a flower on it. Actually just started to put out a second flower, which I'm probably going to cut off, because I want to try to salvage some of the leaves, but it's getting cold. So my whole plan was to get seeds this year, to get it to flower and to get seeds. And the leaves are not going to be that great for smoking, because if you don't top the plant early on, the leaves don't get nice and thick and all that. But it's growing well, and I think just the experience of kind of learning how to go from a seed to a tobacco plant, that's a bit of a challenge. The seedlings are difficult to rear and transplant, but boy, once they're in the ground, they're hardy as anything. So that was a good experience, and next year I might put in a few more than the 2 that I had, and I know how to plant them now, because the one was definitely stunted because it wasn't getting as much sun as the other. So learned a lot doing it. Probably not going to have a great deal of tobacco. I didn't expect a great deal of tobacco, but it may not be even smokable. But I'll have seeds. Thanks for asking, Dave. Yeah, Jim, I'm going to do that. Jack Kurtz, how you doing, buddy? All right, killed it, Piper Steve. Enjoy that. Sounds very good. Yes, Paul, it is Burley. I'm not interested in growing anything but barley. I figure the reason I'm doing this is kind of silly because I have enough tobacco that I probably have more tobacco in my tobacco cellar than I could smoke, given the amount of time I'm likely to live. But the real reason I'm doing it is just in case things get really crazy with regulations and stuff. I'll always have the ability to get some burley. Unless they start doing raids and tearing up plants and such. I don't know if I'm at the bottom of the bowl here or if I just tapped a little too hard. Big Dave, I don't really notice the Five Brothers being strong. I know other people say it is, but they say the same thing about Rustica. I'm pretty resistant to nicotine though. Oh, there's Steve. How you doing, dude Rustica? Ron Hardcracker's word. Glad to be of service in helping you procrastinate. Yeah, Big Dave, Five Brothers is a very fine shag cut, so it's really important to pack it as tightly as you can, or else it just burns like wildfire. Probably not an apt comparison these days. Old married guy tricks. I think I've just gotten to the bottom of this bowl. I don't want to smoke briar. I think I'm going to let that sit, maybe play with it later. There might be a little bit more down at the bottom. And it's good stuff, so I don't want to waste it. That's what I've got left. Although that plug actually is quite a bit of tobacco because it's compressed so much. But probably only about 2 or 3 bowls left there. But never fear, we will supplement. I've got my what the heck is this? Woody. I always forget. I can't see it. Anyway, I got this pipe. And I'm going to have some Haunted Bookshop. Oh, smoking, you like that Black Cavendish? Yeah, I did finish up the pouch, and I was quite impressed with it. If they sold that in bulk, I would buy it regularly. Well, not regularly, but I'd keep it on hand as a change of pace. So the old Joe Krantz Red Label is working well for you, Jim. That's good to hear. Star of the East is a very nice blend. Yeah, well, as I've said many times, I'm not a lot of Kia fan at all, but that's one of the few that I can enjoy maybe twice a year. I get that itch to try a lot of Kia again, and I get a quarter of the way through the pipe and think, why did I do this? But that one I can finish them all. It's Star of the East is pretty good. Ron H. and Dave, what tobacco are you talking about there? Five Brothers, okay. Yeah. It's a very, very simple burley. It's I don't think there's any topping on it. It's fairly dry, and it just tastes like burley. So yeah, straightforward is the way I'd describe it. They want to make the country a tobacco-free zone? That's terrible, Paul. Yeah, Ron, I think you could use it as a roll your own, and there might be folks that do that. But there's other roll your owns that I've tried in pipes, and they just don't smoke well. Uh, this one works well as a pipe tobacco. Five Brothers. And I think it's intended to be a pipe tobacco, but can be used for roll your own. Yeah, Paul, it's similar to Samoy in terms of how it smokes and how you have to pack it, but the flavor is quite different. You know, Samoy has an interesting flavor that the only place where I've experienced that flavor other than Samoy is in Rustica, and that's a very different, more complex flavor profile. So I'm not saying they're the same, but the thing that makes Samoy unique is also in Rustica. Like smoking a cigar in a barn. Thanks, Paul. Gotcha. Have any of you guys seen Samoy put out these? I forget what they're called. There's like a French name for them, but they look like little, sort of cone-shaped cigars. And the idea is you're supposed to stuff them in the pipe and smoke them in the pipe, but they're like little individual bowl-sized things that you just cram in. Wonder if any of you guys... Are they Ebuchons? Is that what they're called? Have you had one, Paul? I've got 4 or 5 of them in a jar somewhere. Well, no, I know where it is. I just would have to find it because it's in with all the other jars. Ebuchons. I did not realize because that's the same word that's used for non-plateau cuts of briar. Any French scholars out there that can translate the word Ebuchon? And probably correct my pronunciation? I gotta be careful. There's some people that get very, where's Christian when I need him? There's some people that get very upset when I abuse French. Plug? Okay, that's interesting. I wonder why it's used for those pieces of briar then. I made a video maybe about a month ago. It was one of my ramble videos, and I was ranting about something or the other. And I was talking about what the kids call a meme. And I made a joke. I really intended this to be a joke. I said I don't like that word because it reminds me of what French people call mimes. And I totally meant it as a joke. I don't even know what French people call mimes. And I got somebody that just wrote a dissertation on this in the comments section. It was a joke. But like I said in my last ramble, words are important. Words have meaning, and we have to be careful with the use of them. So I guess I was violating my own principle there, but I really did just think it was funny. The internet is fascinating. The problem, Chad, is that the internet used to be something that you could decide to be fascinated by, and now it's kind of spilling out into other aspects of life. Uh, I love the social media that we take part in. I love Instagram. I love YouTube. Don't use Twitter much, but it can be fun. But boy, on the whole, I just don't think it's been a good thing for us. Go back to the BBS. I wonder how many people even remember BBS's nuclear meltdown. Yeah, BBS's were bulletin board systems where you actually had to call somebody else's computer. Um, and there were these networks. Like the one I remember was called FidoNet, where people on the West Coast would post a message, and then those computers would call people in the next time zone and transfer the information, and it would kind of roll across I think around the world actually. So that's how we were communicating before there was email and this instant form posting and stuff like that. It took time for the information to travel around. And these BBSs were how you would access these forms that would allow you to communicate with other people. And if, I'll tell you a story, and then we'll tie this up. So I had some friends in high school that were let's say they didn't often have dates for New Year's Eve, and leave it at that. And they invited me to a party, and these were good guys. I liked them. I hung out with them. But I something fell through. I was supposed to do something else on New Year's Eve, and one of their friends was having a party, and so I went. I actually took a girlfriend, and that was nice because I think there was only one other woman there, so she was kind of a center of attention. This was a computer geek party, okay? And I like I said, I liked these guys. I don't mean to make fun of them, but the guy that hosted this party, the guy whose house we were in, ran one of these bulletin board systems, and he turned on the screen as we got close to midnight, because and this was an annual party that these guys had. This was the only time I went to it, but what they did every year was they'd turn it on just before midnight, and they'd look for the first person to log on at or around midnight on New Year's Eve, and they'd make fun of them for not having anything else to do. And I just thought it was kind of an odd, just an odd situation where these guys that clearly had nothing better to do than to make fun of this poor person were, waiting patiently for this person to log on. Very, very odd experience. There's still some running, Johnny. I did not know that. Telnet. Wow. I didn't think that was even a thing anymore. Fascinating. I am going to have to look into that as I make fun of people that would know that. I wasn't making fun of them. I was making fun of the situation. That's actually good because at Big Dave, that's not going to happen. With the way things are going with censorship and everything, it may be necessary to have alternative ways of accessing information, and knowing that there's still some bulletin board systems out there, that's a good thing. It would be very hard to regulate it since it's direct connections between computers. Well, that's really crackling for some reason. Yeah, Big Dave, I couldn't possibly be wrong, right? Well, that's interesting, Paul. The dark shag sounds really interesting. Does anybody remember the type of tobacco Sherlock Holmes smoked? Mixture 79. No, 20. Interesting, Paul. Okay, please stop guessing. Sherlock Holmes smoked black shag, and there's one, I don't remember which story it was, but he sends Watson to the tobacconist, and he asks him to get I think it was a quarter pound of his strongest black shag. Jimmy Tabacchi, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, smoke signals might make a comeback. Of course, none of us will be able to use them, but Isaac Dweck, hello there. We are actually winding down, guys. Just been rambling a bit, but oh, Big Dave, you got to get that. Like I said, if you don't like it, I'll buy it off you. Isaac, it's a haunted bookshop. And I feel bad that this is it's VFG. Is that K Woody? I cannot remember the brand of this pipe, and I'm sorry about that. Ron, it was Watson that smoked chips. me, I thought it was written on here, but I can't find. It might just be a little light. It's Medco. Sorry, of course. Medco BFG, very fine grain. And it's got the nylon stem, which I really like. I wish I could find more nylon stem pipes. Oh, Big Dave, well, we're going to trade then. Yeah, Watson did smoke ships. Yeah, it's you know, some of these Medcos, I have kind of avoided them because they've got that metal tenon. They were made to accept a filter, and I guess it was just a cheap and easy way to manufacture them because the tenon's kind of sprung into the mortise, and you don't have to size them or anything. But they actually smoke nicely. Yeah, I like the nylon stem. I think the reason we don't see more JDE is I've tried to, when I originally got this stem, it had some tooth chatter on it, and I, you know, tried to clean it up as best I could. It just does not. You can't file it. You can't sand it. It just kind of. It's like trying to file rubber. It doesn't work well. So, I think that's why they're really hard to make, and I'm guessing this was actually molded rather than carved or cut. Oh, Big Dave, that's a that's fake news. To me, Mixture 79 tastes like vanilla with a touch of anise. He's been listening to Sarge. No, Sarge actually came around. He got hooked as well. It's an old wives' tale. It's one of these blends that, I mean, not only is it polarizing and that you either hate it or love it, but it's one that if you don't hate it, it will eventually get to you. It's almost addictive. Just in terms of the flavor profile. Yes, Yingling, there we go, which is pretty close to empty. Yes, Paul, I've got a tin of St. Bruno that been meaning to open forever. I keep telling myself I have too many tins open. You haven't smoked it. Big Dave. He apparently kept a tub of Mixture 79 in every room of his house. Yes, Jim, when the beer's gone, the party is over. And the pipe's almost out as well. So, want to thank you guys. I really appreciate you showing up for this. Congratulations to Ron H. again for winning the 7LE Series 3. So this will be going off to him early next week. We'll do this again next month. So watch for the announcements. Next Friday on CaneRod Pipes Live, we're going to be doing Virtual Pipe Club because they do not have a guest. And probably won't do a video tomorrow unless I get a bug up me to do it. So you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the week ahead and take care.